I shall.
And hello to all you other wonderful weirdos watching.
I don't know if you can hear my dehumidifier, but it's quite loud for me. Okay, so this was supposed to be last week's Short Story Saturday, but I had to use my backlog because I was kind of hoping to get ahead of the curve and have a few weeks off at some point, but now I'm realising I need to be going about it differently. Oh, cause I don't know. I don't think I like how I did it. Anyways, so this may have taken me a little while longer than a week, mainly because I don't know. This is a good one, but also there's bits that kind of made me not want to pick it back up. And so I wasn't too excited about it. I'm not too thrilled by it. I did say I was going to give it to the end of the first volume, which I have one more, so I'm going to try and do that. I will also say, even the title of this Sex, Death and Starshine reminds me of what I said last time about Clive Barker's books, stories, and that is Freud would love Clive Barker, and this, I think Freud would want to do a case study on Barker because I'm just gonna go through this now because it's a long one. It's a long one. We start off with a director and a lead actress. Well, she's basically blowing them off. Yeah, I burst out laughing at Clive Barker's descriptions. And when I say that, I am not joking. Like, in the very first chapter, they are like, she is passionately going at his groin, and he's just like she wasn't much of an actress, but by God, she was quite a performer. When she'd finished milking the moment dry, he almost wanted to applaud. I laughed, but I hate it. I really hate it. I'm just gonna point out every other time that they are going at it in this exact way, by the way. It's always her going down on him. And also, he starts kissing her when she's upset, trying to like make her feel better as an act of the role of her lover. No. It's kind of gross because we all know the trope that directors can put their influence to and power, use their power dynamic. There's a huge power imbalance, etc., to take advantage of women under their employ. Yeah, this is not great, and the descriptions are very theatre based. Yes, this is about theatre, but I really wish I was reading Sarah J Maas when it comes to the romance sex bit, because I guess it's saying a lot that I want to read Sarah J Maas over Clive Barker's description of sex. Yeah, I kept putting it down. It was worse. But I will say, Clive Barker made me terrified of straight sex. Like, seriously. This just oh, and it didn't even get to the horrific bit at that point. I was genuinely scared. Oh no, another sex scene. Can we please get back to the horror? I was like, I am probably going to be that person that is like hiding behind the couch whenever that anything like that pops up. I swear I'm not Ace. I swear, but it's stuff like I just don't get the descriptions that some people decide to put in the books, and it's beyond weird. Some of the, I mean, this the two that I've just like read out to you is hilarious, but at the same time, it doesn't get any better. It's very ugh. So the plot. Let's get to the plot because I just did not want to talk about that anymore. Just I swear I'm not Ace. The way I talk about it, it could be, but it's fine. But yeah, the plot of this is that the director Calloway is trying to pull off a Shakespeare play, something to do with Viola. I don't know which one that is, because the lead actress, who they are, in the back room, that she's actually a soap opera star, and that meant that she's not great at Shakespearean theatre plays. So there's a lot of commentary on that, and then a lot of snide remarks from the other actors about favoritism towards Diane. And on top of that, a man pops up out of nowhere saying that the theatre's going to close, and you know exactly why. And it's basically because of the greed of the accountant guy who doesn't really like theatre, is just there to make the money in the back, doesn't care for art. He's basically warning Calloway on the closure of this theatre on the 11th run through, and on top of there's something off about this guy, like not quite there. You don't actually get to see his face. He's like got certain lights on him so that you can't actually see what this guy's face properly looks like until later on. And then when we do get, I can't be bothered to pick that up now. And quite frankly, I don't want to. We get the conversation of art throughout this, because Litchfield, I think it's Lich. I keep wanting to think it's Lynch, but I'm sure there's no N in there, but my dyslexia wants to put an N in there. But yeah, Litchfield is basically warning Calloway about you want to go out with a bang, so you might. Unfortunately, your leading lady playing Viola is not up for it, but it's like he's not gonna recast. They're so close to the production, but yeah, they oh, it just continues on a little bit, but the thing is that even when Diana's like crying in her room saying that she's no good for this part, even Calloway is just like not saying anything about that. And I'm also going to say this is the point where I'm very concerned, because this is another story. I have not looked this up yet. I should probably, but maybe editing me will look it up. But it's like another throwaway line that's anti-Semitic. Like, she's complaining about her agent, and it's kind of like the unnecessary thing that she says about him, and I can't tell if it's the characters that Barker is writing is supposed to be that because of the time it's written, or if it's Barker himself. I don't know. I will be looking this up because this is the third, to my knowledge, and I can think of, that has happened. It happened in the last one, happened in the first one. No, not the first one, the second one. Did it happen in the first one and I've just forgotten about it? I don't know. But it just keeps popping up. All I know is that these lines are popping up and I don't like them. I don't like it. It's a little unnecessary. It might be a thing of the times. I don't care. It's bothering me, and if it's bothering me, I'm gonna put it down. Which I did, and then that's why it takes so long to read it. So, yeah. While she's crying, complaining about the role because she's not feeling like she's cut out for it, and yes, the director takes advantage of her in that moment, they're interrupted by Litchfield again and asks Calloway for a moment with the leading lady to talk to her. This is where we finally get the horror elements, because it has gone on for a few pages at that point and it's all just theatre drama. And so now we get the horror of Litchfield kind of enforcing the fact that she's not cut out for the part and his wife is. And so we kind of get this very gross image described to us of Litchfield's face and how it's just bone, peeled back skin. She basically can't fight him and ends up, so he kisses her and she's found on the floor by somebody and is in a coma, and the main man, the guy that begins with an M, I think, but the guy who wants to shut the place down, the one who runs the books, he's distraught by it. Like, he's madly in love with this soap opera star, and was probably reason why it had gone on this long was because she was part of the play. But yeah, he's very distraught and is just like, decides to just scrap it, cancel everything, and yeah, no recasting necessary. And Litchfield turns up and Calloway is surprisingly okay with this guy, even though he saw him go into Diane's room before she went into a coma. Didn't want to question it whatsoever. Very, like, not concerned. But yeah, they recast with the guy's wife. And I cannot figure out my wording, the way around the words, right, the letters right now, so I can't actually pronounce her name. I'm too tired to try. It's just one of those things. I am filming after work, so yeah, I'm in extreme battling with my dyslexia right now. So we've now come to the night. Oh god, and there's also Tallulah. There's Tallulah. There's a woman who's literally just there to like provide some backstory that she knows from like working in that theatre since she was 15, like Litchfield and his wife, and how gorgeous she was on stage, and yeah, just willingly goes along with everything. And on top of that, Litchfield actually comes and gets her, like talks to her, also kind of kills her, locks her in a room with her own key. Yeah, this whole thing is like, the show must happen in I still want to say Lynch. It's Litchfield. Litchfield really wants things to go his way. Despite the fact it's nothing to do with him. But yeah, we've got this performing night, the dress rehearsal, and Diane shows up and is right back at it, trying to do unfinished business with the guy, with Calloway, the director, and just goes right back to sucking him off. And it takes Calloway way too long to realise she's dead. Like, what? It's like, oh, now you're realising she's not breathing. Now you're realising she's not just pale, she's, like, born white. Like, there's no blood running. Haha. Yeah. So, halfway through that, she realises that he knows there's something wrong, but he can't move. And then she goes get something, and something silvery metallic, and then we flash to the bookkeeping guy who's closing it down. Calloway comes in, and he is just like even more mopey because he's received the news that Diane has passed away, and Calloway just says, I don't care. Guy has to look up to realise that Calloway is literally naked from the waist down, and there's a nail file that belongs to Diane sticking out of his head. Yeah. He's so the whole plan was to like have the whole performance play it out with no one the wiser that there's corpses walking around, and burn the place down as one giant hurrah. I think my favourite part was the fact that the graveyard decided to be the audience. They rose up and it's just like an audience of the dead, and it kind of just says a lot about performance and how sometimes a dead woman can give a better performance than a soap opera star. I don't know. Yeah, so yeah, my takeaway is that some people go a little too far in the name of art. There was even that line at the very end. There are lives lived for love, said Litchfield to his new company, and lives lived for art. So, yeah, after the whole place is burnt down, there's now a few bodies found, the graveyard has returned, and there's a few people just stood by the side of the road, ready to continue on. And they're also kind of going off as a acting troupe to entertain the dead, because nobody's doing that. Weirdly enough. The lights of the cars racing north along the motorway threw the company into a silhouette. They looked, to all intents and purposes, like living men and women. But then, wasn't that the trick of their craft? To imitate life so well that illusion was distinguishable from the real thing. I just quite like how they're just deciding which way to go. One person's like, my mum is buried in Glasgow, we should go there. Entertain her. She never got to see me on stage. So they go. Yeah, this is a weird one. I did enjoy it when it wasn't being making me terrified of straight people. But oh well. Clive Barker's gonna freaking go there, I guess. I don't like it. I don't like it. So yeah, I have one more of this collection of volume 1, and then I'll decide if I'm going to continue on from there. I might just do that and then have a break from it. I feel like I need to put one of these down. I think I'm juggling too much, and 3 short story collections is a lot. So I might just drop down to 2, and I don't know which one it's going to be, either Books of Blood or Dancing Girls. So I shall make up my mind at some point. I mean, it's nice to have the starting point of at the end of a volume and then do Dancing Girls to the end and then do another volume. Might work. But yeah, hey ho. That was this week's short story. It wasn't I think the only thing frightening about it was the descriptions of sex. Ugh. Like seriously, if an author can make me wish for Sarah J. Maas's like romance writing, I think I found it. I mean, no shade to Sarah J. Maas. She can write horror really, really well. She just prefers to write romance, whereas Clive Barker seems to be in the same boat where he likes to write really weird descriptions of sex. Yeah, maybe they could get along. I don't know. Maybe they would get along like a house on fire. Well, I suppose a theatre on fire. Maybe. Anywho, bye, Shell.
And bye to all the other wonderful weirdos watching.
Yeah.